black leaders of the day, Charles Rodriguez, who was head of the trade union movement, A.F. Adderley, a number of E.R. Baird, a number of the black leaders went to protest this to the government. And they were given until the weekend. When nothing was done, the workers decided that they would march on the Bay Street to make their protests. They marched with clubs and when they got into Bay Street, opposite Cole's Pharmacy, which was still where it is today, there was a Coca-Cola truck, a Pepsi-Cola truck, parked outside with lots of bottles on the truck, and one of the marchers took a bottle and threw it at the window of Cole's Pharmacy and smashed the window. They were on their way to the colonial executive's office, which was then in the public square, the building just across from the House of Assembly. And that broken window was the spark which erupted the whole gang. And hell broke loose, and they busted up half of Bay Street. And then there was a curfew later on after the riot squad was called out, but it wasn't the riot squad. We had then, because the Duke of Windsor was here, we had a Scottish unit of soldiers to protect him. And they were called out. And they brought the crowd over the hill. And there was a mission of inquiry, which turned out that the parties here didn't make the contract at all. It was made for us by the British government abroad. But because they marched from one unit, marched from what is now Windsor Field, well, not now Windsor Field, it's called Linden International Airport, it was then called Windsor Field, and passed that road which lies between the airport road and the road up front.
Lake Road. Lake Road.
Lake Road. Yeah. That was then called Burma Road. And it's from that it got its name.
So they came through Lake Road?
Some came that way and went up Turnquest. Others came up the back road and picked up these workers from Oak Street. And they all marched up Nassau Street, across Meeting Street, past Government House down George Street, and onto Bay Street. They all come in jail. What year was it? 1942.
Well, I think they came in various directions because through Chapel Street a large number came. And they attacked a bar on the corner of Red Lion Bar Corner, which was being operated at that time by the father of Lady Folks. And that time when I happened to go in that bar and he gave me a small bottle of soda.
You were about to riot.
And subsequently they, on Taylor Street, they went into Larrymore's bar on the corner of Taylor Street. Yes.
Yes, I believe the Burma Road riots also had racial overtones. No question about it. In other words, it wasn't directed only at the farm. It was directed also at the white business class, I think.
It also provided a release for lots of other complaints.
But my main question is this. I have heard it said that the racial discrimination that occurred in the Bahamas was mainly centered on Nassau and came about mainly as the result of the arrival of American tourism. In other words, you had tourists, on which many businessmen depended, who decided that we've got to respect the sensibilities of the white American, and that on the out islands, for example, Long Island, any island you want, it was not any official discrimination. And my main question is this: there is nothing in Bahamian law that permits racial discrimination or permitted it in those days. That's a question? I'm sorry, it sounded like a statement.
In those days, oh yeah. Oh yeah, so there was no law which prevented it. Indeed, I mean the open discrimination in the hotels which existed, and even in some of the business places, the main grocery shop in the 30s and early 40s was a store called J.P. Sands, which was where the Bank of Nova Scotia now is. And in J.P. Sands, persons of color, customers, regular customers, were not served on the eastern side.
On the eastern side.
You had to go on the western side. The store had 2 counters in the front door weighing it all. And if you were black, you got on this side, and you couldn't shop, you couldn't go to any of the salesmen behind the counter on the right-hand side. So not only was there no law to prevent it, but it was very prevalent and protected. And that went on until the started to crack when the anti-discrimination resolution was introduced in the House of Assembly by Sethi Nakuch.
I'd just like to know when you're
You mustn't ask that question when my wife is pregnant.
Thank you, Mr. Orville, very, very much. I think we'd have been here all night if we could have kept going. The next meeting that we have is on Thursday, the 25th of March. Dr. Harry Munnings will read excerpts from his book Westward, and we get a treat to play the guitar. On Thursday, the 22nd of April, I mentioned the lunch and the fashion show at the Yacht Club. And on Thursday, the 29th of April, the annual general meeting. And then in May, we have the history of theatre with Nicolette Bethel and Philip Burrows. So we've got a nice program ahead. I would remind you that the dues are coming up. Oh yes, if anyone here is not a member or let their membership lapse, we have some forms at the back and we'll take checks. They can't leave until you sign. And we have journals for sale, right? Boy, Andrea's good salesman. He's reminded me. Put her at the door. Right? So thanks, ladies and gentlemen. You've been a great audience, and I really, really appreciate the amount of people who come on. I know Sir Orville's talk was attractive, but generally we've been increasing, and I'm very pleased about it. Thanks, and have a good evening. Drive safely.